What's going on, everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Aaron Hunter, and this is another AWS Power Hour. Today, we're talking about Cloud Practitioner, and I have my buddy here, Matt. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
It's going well, Aaron. It's good to be back with you. How have you been?
I've been okay. I've been okay. It's been 2 weeks since we saw each other.
Yes.
We missed last week, but we're back here. We're going to do a back-to-back session. This is episode 5. Right after this episode, we have episode 6. So 2.5 hours of packed learning for everyone out there.
Yeah, and just as you and I discussed, it'll be separate videos for those who miss it. So if
Yes.
they miss one, they won't have to watch 2 hours of us. They can select episode 5 or episode 6. We hope they watch 2 hours. We hope they watch
Yeah.
6 hours of us. But
6 hours. Yeah, exactly. I see people out there saying, "Hey, what's going on, everyone?" Actually, you know what? Since you're in the chat, go ahead and let us know where you're from. I'm based out of Frisco, Texas, just north of Dallas. And Matt, you're based out of somewhere in the Rockies,
yep, Central Colorado.
Central
So
Colorado, Rocky area. Awesome. Cool. So let's go ahead and I will share my screen here pretty soon. Let me get a few last minute things up on the screen. All right, perfect. And here we are. Okay, so there we go. Episode 5, cost efficiency and pricing models. Oh, I see. One person's like, going to be a long day, eh? It's not going to be a long day, but it's going to be longer than we typically do. It's an hour longer than normal. Um, so as we mentioned, my name is Aaron Hunter. I'm a senior technical trainer with Amazon Web Services training and certification. Matt Heffernan is here joined with us. He's also a senior technical trainer with Amazon Web Services training and certification. And we're going to talk about cost efficiency and pricing models. We do have a homework review for you. So here, the homework from last week, or rather 2 weeks ago, our last episode was to read the FAQs for Amazon S3 and Amazon RDS. We did see the responses come in on LinkedIn. Thank you for those who did the homework. Make sure that when you do complete the homework, you're using the hashtag AWS Power Hour and tag myself, Aaron S. Hunter, and Matt, MH Hefe. You can also reach out to me directly on LinkedIn if you have any questions. You can reach out to Matt, and it's the same alias on Twitter as well, and the same alias on Twitch. It's the same alias a lot of different places. So here and with the episode itself, we actually do have one poll for you. Let me go ahead and bring that poll up right here. For those who are new, how many episodes have you watched from this series so far? This is episode 5. Have you watched 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe this is your first episode? Let us know in the chat. We are watching it. And Thomas says 4. Thank you for being here, Thomas, for all the episodes so far. Okay. A lot of people saying 4 so far. 4, 4, 4. They're coming through. One person said 1 live and 2 on replay. That's actually really cool. That's a very specific call out and appreciate that
yep.
right there. This is the second live. Hey, welcome. Glad to have you here, Abhishek. One person said 5, brand new here. Welcome to the show. This is your first time. We do appreciate you. If you are just watching, if you haven't joined us yet, go ahead and sign into Twitch. That way you can chat with us. We want to hear from you. We have chat moderators here to also help out. And we'll go ahead and jump directly into the rest of our topics. So in today's episode, we're going to cover cost optimization, but let's show you where you can go for those previous on-demand episodes. You can go to awspowerhour.com. We'll make sure that that link gets thrown into the chat. And this will take you to the AWS training and certification on Twitch page that has all the details. But there's been a change. There has been a change in the past few weeks. And I want to call this out. What we can see here is when you load the page by default, it's going to load live shows. And the reason being is because, as you can see, we have a brand new series coming up around architecting. We're talking about Cloud Practitioner today, but we have the architecting series coming up in just a few weeks. So you can go and click on that link to learn more about that series. And my buddy Trevor Spires and a few others are going to be joining on that session to really discuss the differences between the previous exam version and the latest SAA C03 exam for architecting associate. For the on-demand shows, you can go ahead and click on on-demand. And you know what that does for you? It loads a whole lot of other stuff. Yes, it does indeed. So what you can do is you can click on the Cloud Practitioner June 2022 series if you want to learn more about Cloud Quest and go out and get certified, get your badge and all that stuff. I got my badge. Did you get yours, Matt?
Not yet.
Still working on it. Okay,
Still
we'll
working
take that.
on it.
Still working
All
on it.
right.
So when this series is over, our series, the Power Hour Cloud Practitioner, will be moved into the on-demand shows section. So you can click on that. I'll go ahead and open that in a new tab. And by the way, I already have it loaded, so we'll cheat a little bit here with the power of internet magic. You can see that we have the Cloud Practitioner AWS Power Hour page. It has a link to the Get Certified Cloud Practitioner Challenge, which we have more details about in just a few moments. And you can view information about every single episode. We have resources that we mentioned during the show. You can watch it on demand. You can scroll all the way down and see here for episode 5. That's today, Friday, September 16th at 8:30 a.m. Pacific. I almost said Central. I'm Central. 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And coming up immediately after this episode, we're going to jump into a review and exam prep. So don't go anywhere. We're going to go straight from episode 5 into episode 6. And then you can see more details here, and including our names. Hey, Matt, look, you're famous. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you very much, Aaron.
Speaking of Matt, let's
Without
go ahead.
you.
Speaking of Matt, let's go ahead and hand over to Matt so he can dive directly into what we're covering today.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. We're going to talk about cost efficiency and pricing models today, and really cost is important to our customers. And it is also an essential part of the exam. And so you need to familiarize yourself with a bunch of different concepts. And so the first one we talk to is the concept of EC2 reserved instances. It seems so long ago, doesn't it, Aaron, that we were talking about compute and EC2 instances?
It seems like ages ago, but you know
It's
what? It's so core and fundamental, I can never forget about it.
There you go. And so what we'll go ahead and talk about here is how you can pay for those instances. So we have the on demand. That means you can spin up an instance and you're essentially paying full price. And then we have reserved instances. And with a reserved instance, you get a significant discount. And as it talks about there, up to 72% off, and you can reserve an instance. So why would you do this? Why do you think, Aaron?
To save cost. I mean, reserved instances, if we know that you are expecting some kind of capacity change, or maybe you have a baseline of for your fleet, then we can help to better prepare ourselves for that overall capacity consumption and offload some cost to you as well.
Yeah, and if you know your workloads, if you know this is going to be a consistent workload, whatever this particular EC2 instance does, whatever the application is in your environment, you can go ahead and you can pay in advance and either a 1 or 3 year commitment. And then you have a choice. You have no upfront payment. So you could say, I'm going to need this for 3 years, but I'm not going to pay anything up front. So nothing out of pocket. Or you could do a partial upfront, or you can do an all upfront payment. And by paying ahead of time, you can go by choosing these options, you can get up to 72% off. And so it's a great way for our customers who know those workloads are going to run to go ahead and choose an option that gets them a discount from the on-demand instances.
Awesome. And hey, you know what? I gotta bring this up. I'm seeing the chat, and it's really cool to see like the activity in the chat. Let us know if you have any questions. Type it in the chat. We have Thomas and Brian here to help us out. But there's one really interesting comment. Someone passed their cloud practitioner certification last Friday. Congratulations! Woohoo! Everyone say congratulations in the chat, please do. It goes a long way when we celebrate each other and our wins and successes. And this one is legendary.
Yeah. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is good. I have had people send me private messages in chat saying that, hey, this is or not in chat, in LinkedIn, and messaged me on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm really enjoying, and this is really helping me out as I begin my cloud journey. And one of them even said a career change. So that's really important. The ability to learn technology and go ahead because it's such in demand out there. You can take your career anywhere you want. So let's go ahead and kind of continue on. How do you purchase a reserved instance? Well, it's done through the management console, and you can go ahead and basically pay for those upfront. Again, no upfront payment, partial upfront payment, and lastly, full upfront payment. And so you can go ahead and do that. But the reserved instances aren't the only way that we have to offer, Aaron. And that is we also, another one. Wow, this is great.
Another one. This is so great.
This is awesome. Well, we do have savings plans. And savings plans, we have all kinds of different things. We have compute savings plans. As it says here, there are 3 types. There's compute savings plans. So it looks at all of the compute options. It looks at your EC2 instances. It looks at your containers. It looks at your Lambda functions. And it goes ahead and sees collectively how much you're paying, and we can give you a discount for that. Then we have those EC2 instance savings plans. Again, we're looking at how much you're spending in terms of EC2. And then there is also for SageMaker savings plans. And I know, Aaron, you're kind of taking your career in a machine learning direction too, aren't you? And SageMaker is one of our
I'm just hoping the machines can
services.
take. I just want the machines to take care of all the hard work for me.
That's right. You want them to take over, huh?
I don't know about take over. Just take care of the hard stuff so I can just sit on
Okay.
the beach. Yeah.
All right. Wasn't there that there was a kids cartoon like that? Wasn't there a movie that came out a few years ago where machines ran everything?
There were a few movies, and there have been some controversial movies for sure. But that one was fun, where it talks about like dog pig, loaf of bread. I think is the one you're talking about.
I think I did.
Some
All
family
right.
versus the machines. I think. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So again, a great. What are the benefits? Again, significant savings, as it talks about here. You can get again with EC2 up to 72% off. It's really just a great way for AWS to look and see what you're using, and the more you use, the more you save. And so lots of different things here. We also have, it talks here, here's the frequently asked questions, and lots of different things about savings plans here. One of the things is the compute savings plan can get you a cost savings of up to 66%. And so they automatically apply. You don't even have to worry about this. It's Amazon's looking at it and saying, "Oh, you're using this amount. We're going to give you a discount and up to the and there you go." So it's like, I don't know about you. You order anything off the web sometimes, and they ask for the code, your discount code. We don't
Do I
have to worry
order
about a
anything off
discount.
the web sometimes? Who are you talking to? All the time. It's like every day there's some kind of package being delivered, or maybe there's like some digital product that I'm ordering. I might even order things off of like Skill Builder, so that way I can learn more about our products and our services when I'm not teaching them.
Yeah, I think I finished yesterday. I finished the planning and designing databases on Skill Builder.
Nice. How was that for
So
you?
it was good. It was good. Again, the toolbox. I stress that a lot. I come from a background, DBA background. I worked with SQL, structured query language, in my career. But to see the other databases that we have, the multiple no relational databases, I mean, just data warehouses, all those different solutions that AWS has, that was something that I I enjoyed learning it. And then
Yeah.
again, you just go, wow.
And they talk about cost optimization with databases within that training as well. And that's what we're talking about today, like cost optimization, maybe even like estimates and how we can share those out. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm leaking stuff. I'm sorry. I'm talking about
Yeah.
things we're going to talk about way ahead of time.
Yes, jumping in. And I see Brian just put in the skill builder link, and that's important. There's a lot of different ways and different things that you can learn out there, and it's where you want to take your career. But let's jump back in and talk about cost exploring. And looking at Cost Explorer. So Cost Explorer allows you to go in and as it says there, visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs over time. And I'm back in the console here, uh, and so we can go ahead and kind of look here. It scrolls down. Here's just kind of, this is on the dashboard. This is we changed our console about 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and we included the cost and usage right up front on the landing page. And I think this is great to know and give you kind of a quick insight. But if I scroll back up and I go to AWS Cost Explorer, well, there's a lot here that I can see to look at the costs of what's happening in your account. We'll give it a few minutes, a few seconds here as it comes up.
And while we're doing that, there's actually one comment in the chat. I'm going to bring that up because it's actually really relevant to one of the first episodes that we had in this series. And they asked, cost optimization is one of the 6 pillars of the well-architected framework. Is that automatic, or do you have to enable it? Do you want to maybe talk about that real quick?
Yeah, some of it is enabled, like we talked about with compute savings plans, and with EC2 instances, with EC2 savings plans, again, you have to go ahead and purchase those up front. But we collectively, and when I say we, I'm talking about AWS. There it is on my shirt. We're there helping you reduce costs, and there's always going to be ways that you can go ahead. You can look at my costs. My current month is down 29% from last month. And then last month's was down again. And then we can kind of look at some of the unblended costs. And if I click here, Cost Explorer, you can dive in deeply as to what's happening. And right now it's just showing I can go by service.
And that's cool because then if you want to break down your overall cost and see like how much is one service costing me, or maybe if you're reviewing your bill and you see a spike, like I see a spike right there in the center, or
Yep.
rather it's on the left third of your page, and you can
Yeah.
actually start drilling into like what caused that spike because maybe one service you forgot it was running. I've done that so many times. I
Yep.
have thankfully have alerts set up.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I did not a few months ago, and I had set up a multi AZ database in a class as a demo. I went through it. The students were all happy. Everyone was happy. We were all good, and I forgot about it. And then I came in, and my costs were very very high that particular month. But it's nice. I mean, you can go ahead and I can look at it monthly if I want. And with the cost and usage, a Cost Explorer, I can come in and look and see all kinds of different things that are happening in my environment. And then I can download it to a CSV. So this can be exported. One of the other things too that we talked about a long time ago, Aaron, was the concept of tags. Do you remember that?
Yeah, tags and whether or not tags should be standardized or case sensitive, and some prescriptive guidance and best practices. There's a whole lot of things out there, but tags and tagging policies can help you better understand your bill. And you can actually have tags that are spanned across departments or maybe even regions. You can tag against that too. So tag all the things.
Yeah, it's a project. And so now we can go ahead, we can tag to a project, and then we can look and see what the costs associated with that project were in comparison with the budget that you have for that. And so just a whole bunch of different ways that we can look. Here's the months, again, broken down. Looks like most of my costs come from EC2. Again, DynamoDB. QuickSight, and then some EC2 instances as we kind of go through there and look at different things. We also have the Cost Explorer frequently asked questions, and it talks again by the different different default reports. Hey,
You want to try that? You want to try that again,
oh yeah,
Matt?
hello.
Words are
Hold
hard.
on.
It's
Caffeine
Friday.
pause.
Caffeine pause. Take that sip, and you know what? Hey, everyone, let us know what your favorite well-architected pillar is. We're talking about cost optimization today, but if you have a favorite one, let us know in the chat. Go ahead and type it. Hopefully, I bought you some time, Matt.
Yeah, thank you very much. Is there going to become a big hook and pull me off stage?
Oh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
My wife will come in and say, come, Matt, it's over. Just leave. Come. That's it. So one of the things I did want to point out is that we have utilization reports. So let's tie this back to what we started in our conversation earlier today, and that was reserved instances. So you can get a utilization report and you can get a coverage report. And so there are a whole different ways you can look at in terms of cost management and your reserved instances. I'll do a quick, the magic of
searching in the internet and all the things.
yes. So it can go ahead and take me right to the console to look at those reports. And so I can go ahead and see the different utilization reports and how much. Now, this one's showing nothing. And I hate to disappoint everyone, but right now I don't have any reserved instances. And a lot of it has to do because I can't foresee what I'm doing a year or 3 years out in terms of what I'm teaching and keeping and stuff like that. But again, you can go right to those different reports and you're able to go ahead and see what happens. So those cost and usage reports, I just come back to cost management here. I have these different reports. And look at all these different reports: monthly cost by service, monthly cost by linked account, daily costs, all of these that I can go ahead and I can create my own report. And what is nice is I can, from a business perspective, tie in to the financial stakeholders, right? And then we can share and see what exactly did that project cost? How can we pass those savings on to customers? And all of that. Very, very, very big in terms of finances. One of the other things too is budgets. I think you said you do alerts, Aaron?
Yeah, there's alerts, and now we have, I think as of late 2020, we have budget actions as well. So there's budget alerts, and there's budget actions. So you can actually better take control of your spend based on some threshold that you set.
Yeah, you can come in here and quickly create a budget, and here it is, right? I can do it based on cost, I can do it based on usage, by a savings plans budget, or even a reservation. And so I can target reservations that are used or underutilized, and then I can go ahead and click next here. I can go ahead and set up my budget details. So we could call this, project A. Whoops. We can go ahead and it'll be a recurring monthly. We'll start in, well, that project starts in October. We can go ahead and do a fixed budget, and maybe it's $1,000 for that particular project or whatever. And now I can go ahead and I can filter. And what's nice is I can also filter on different AWS services. So it can be all services, or it can be some of the services. What I like about that is, and I've stressed this multiple times throughout these sessions, is we have the ability. There's many tools in the toolbox here. Whether you're using database, there's a bunch of different tools. Choose the database that works best for you. Same with compute. Same with storage. What are you going to be doing? And then we can go ahead and look at how we want to aggregate those costs.
Yeah, and there's actually a really good question in the chat as well around cost and maybe even with instances, because some of these might apply to databases, some of them might apply to EC2 instances, some of them might even apply to machine learning if you're going down that path. And it's what's the main difference between savings plans and reserved instances? Both have 1 or 3 year terms.
So with us, it's again a multiple ways that we can combine, because there are so many different ways that customers can use our compute power, and so we can go ahead and tie that in with reserved instances. So if you know your steady workloads, okay, great. I know my steady workloads. I know we're always going to have an email server. I know we're always going to have some type of directory server for people authenticating or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay a reserved instance 3 years. I also may have some short-term projects, just like I set up a budget for project A there. Then I can have compute savings plans that tie that into my reserved instances. So it's a constant looking at the whole and looking at all the different parts, and because of that, giving you greater and greater discounts based upon the more you use.
And yeah, and speaking of discounts, I think we have a poll around savings plans and how much our customers can save. Do you want to jump over to
Uh,
that?
yeah, go ahead.
All right, everyone, let's go ahead and bring that poll up on the screen. So, EC2 instant savings plans can save AWS customers up to how much off the regular prices? Type your guesses or your answers in the chat. Let's see where we go with this. Is it 62%, 66%, 72%, or 77%? I see a lot of threes coming in. People are thinking 72%. I wonder. Let's see. Oh, someone thinks maybe 66%. Let's go ahead and show them the answer. Which one do you think, Matt? I know
I
you
think
know
I'm
the
gonna
answer, so it's not really fair.
I'll go with everybody. I'm gonna stick with the crowd.
Yeah,
And
stick with the crowd. So that spike there, 72% is the correct answer. Thomas, thank you for dropping a link in the chat. Really do appreciate that. And let's go ahead and move back over to Matt. So sorry for the interruption there, but thank you everyone for jumping in and providing your guesses.
one of the things that I think that that customers want to look at or find out, especially when they're coming to the cloud, is how do I know how much is this going to cost? And I'll tell you, I've worked for other companies before, Aaron, and we used to do things with spreadsheets. we would we would create these massive somebody had a spreadsheet that they created, and then we would meet with customers with sales, and we'd say, okay, this is what we can show you, this is what we can save you, and here it is. And we'd have this massive and complex spreadsheet, which was great in terms of sales wise, um, but it also was cumbersome and we couldn't give it out. And so we would a lot of times have customers say, wait a second, I want to tweak this and look at it myself. Well, we can sit down and work with you. We can't give you our spreadsheet. You can come right here to the AWS pricing calculator and you can create an estimate. So I can go back to that. If I click create estimate here, I can come in here and select different services. And so, for those of for everyone here learning Cloud Practitioner, it's good to know. That's why you have to know all kinds of different services with AWS, because you can come in and help customers know about different services to use. So I can come in here to EC2, and I can go ahead and then click configure. And then I can go ahead and it's give it a second for it to load here. And now I can get really granular. I can get really, really granular. And so now I can select a region. Here we have Ohio. I'm going to select Northern Virginia.
And while you're waiting for that, actually, for those who haven't done it yet, the Cloud Quest Cloud Practitioner role, there's an activity and a challenge where they walk you all the way through the AWS pricing calculator, so you can actually build out groups and work groups, and you can get pricing information. You can share the information with someone else by, let's say, using a link and generating that link or downloading a. What are the options, Matt? All the options, right?
All the options. Yep.
All the options.
And so you can spend time here. Again, how many virtual CPUs do you need? How much memory do you need? Different requirements. How many of those those servers do I need? Am I going to need 4? Let's say. How much is my utilization? I'm going to say I don't like to peak it out. I want to keep it somewhere below. And then I can go ahead and look at those. Oh, here we go. We have what? An EC2 instance savings plan, 1 or 3 years. Let's look at down at the bottom here. If I click 3 years, my monthly cost drops. If I go ahead and do an all upfront, well, my monthly cost is all the way down to $12 because the upfront cost has to be $5,000. So again, we can go ahead and look at the different costs that you can play around with what we've been actually talking about. I can go ahead and look at my compute savings plans. Again, looking at the difference in terms of cost. And so lots of different ways, and it'll even show you the calculations. I think this is great. I've brought this up many times in class. And then, of course, here coming with my storage. So different ways to look at the calculator.
Awesome. And you talked about savings plans and compute savings plans. I think we have another poll right around that because there's a couple different options around how you can pay for that. Do you mind if we throw that up on the screen as well?
I think it's great.
Let's do it. All right. So, which payment options are available for savings plans? Choose 3 this time. You can do it in a single line. You can do it in multiple lines. It depends on what you want. But choose 3. Is it all upfront? Is it total upfront? Is it no upfront? All in total are kind of the same thing. But you know, take what for take what it's worth. Nothing upfront, half upfront, or partial upfront. So choose 3. Choose 3. Is it all, total, no, nothing, half, or partial? I see one person saying 1, 2, and 6. One person saying 1, 3, and 6. Someone else is saying 1, 3, and 6. 1, 3, and 6 as well. Let's see. Let's see who thinks. A few more responses coming in. I can see them. And give it like 30 more seconds here. It's okay if you messed up. You can do it again.
Yep.
You can do it as many times as you want. I'll go ahead and do it. You know what? Oh, I also did the same thing. Oops, my bad. Let's go ahead and show it to everyone. And what's the answer? It's 1, 3, and 6. All up front, no up front, or partial up front. So there's a couple different options for you there.
Yep. Very important. Very important to understand the amount of savings, right? Because understanding how what the cost to your business is, and we've talked about it. You and I mentioned it earlier when COVID came out. A lot of people came to the cloud. That was great, but we also had a lot of customers who reduced their workloads in the cloud. And so that's very important. Cost is always a crucial factor in business.
It really is.
Awesome. All right. So the couple other things. What I'd like to do. I know we're talking about. We're kind of here in terms of cost efficiency. Um, we get a couple of questions popping up talking about, can you please explain the difference between savings plans and reserved instances again? And again, we have different savings plans. Let me just pull that up here. And there's a compute savings plan. So this looks at all your compute. It looks at your containers, Fargate. It looks at your Lambda usage. It looks at your EC2 usage. So we collectively looked at everything you do in terms of compute, and you can get up to 66% off. And we don't care what instance family you're using, the size, the availability zone, the region, the OS or tenancy. We just collectively look at that, automatically give you a discount for that. We also have that EC2 instance savings plans. And again, this can be up to 72%, but this is just you're selecting EC2 instance. And then again, you're deciding whether you're going to use it for 1 or 3 years, and then whether you're going to make a payment up front. And as we saw on that last poll, there's no upfront payment, there's partial upfront payment, and there's full upfront payment. So it depends on how much you want to go ahead and use. And then again, there's the SageMaker savings plan. And so this again has to do more with machine learning. And again, it's consistent usage for a 1 or 3 year term that you're making that commitment. So,
Yeah, and
Sarvesh, I hope
in
that
short,
helped.
workload flexibility. Savings plans offer you more flexibility. That's it. So reserved instances, if you are going to use it in a single account for maybe a single instance type in a single region, it's going to offer you a higher discount percentage of up to 72%. However, with savings plans, you can have workload flexibility and you can use it across multiple accounts and you can use it for different EC2 instance types. You can use it for maybe even like SageMaker instances and so forth. So there's that. The key word here is flexibility with savings plans.
And you have to think too about our customers. When they come to AWS, what are they bringing over? Are they migrating different workloads from their on-premises environment to the AWS cloud? And if they are, what were those workloads? Are those workloads virtual machines? And if they're virtual machines, well, then I'm going, right? An EC2 instance is a virtual machine. So am I going to go that way? But then as they learn more about the options that they have in the cloud, they could go to containers. Maybe they're breaking their application up into microservices, or better yet, maybe they've decided to go serverless. Now they're going to go ahead and use Lambda. And we talked about Lambda a few weeks ago in terms of just being able to upload my code and execute my code. Now I don't have to worry about managing that virtual machine. I don't have to keep that up and running. That administrative overhead is being taken care of by AWS. And so, again, lots of different things that you'd want to use and do. I think, did you see the one, the legendary AP said, maybe if you only need to run your compute for 8 hours a day, then a savings plan would be better, because with reserved, you would pay for the whole day. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. That's thinking. You got to think about what, right? It's not a one size fits all. I think that is really the important thing. There's so many options that you have within AWS, and to go ahead and choose. And so very important there. Did we have any others? Did we have any other polls,
Yeah,
Aaron?
we do. Let's go ahead and throw one up there. So for savings plans, it says compute savings plans can save AWS customers up to how much off of on-demand prices. So last time we saw the answer was 72%, and I'm going to go ahead and question whether or not that's the correct answer here. So we have 62%, 66%, we have 72%, and we also have 77%. Looks like most people are leaning towards 66%. I wonder if that's the correct answer. I don't know. Matt, do you know the answer?
I do know the answer.
Oh, you know the answer? Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything.
All right. All right. Well, let's see. I see two, 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 two. I see a three. I see 66, that is not an option. I see
Mm,
4, but let's go ahead and jump
that
in and
might be the
see.
answer, though.
Yeah, yeah, I see. Okay. Well,
All right.
that I see what they did there. Okay. All right. Bravo. Bravo. So, let's go ahead and jump directly into our next section here. I see some first-time viewers are also coming in with 4, 2, and 3. So, just throwing some numbers out there. Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. A couple other things to talk a little bit about billing management, and let's come back to the billing console. Give me a second here. Those budgets. Remind me to remind me to cap that budget, to delete that budget, Aaron, later. But there are all
Okay.
kinds of different things that we can do in terms of budgets. There are also budget reports. And we can go ahead and create a budget report, and that will allow us to, say my boss comes and says, hey, I need to know what's happening with project A. What happened in terms of that report? And now I can go ahead and I can say, how often do I want? He wants to go ahead, or he or she, depending upon what my boss is, every Sunday they want that, and I can go ahead and put that person's email address in there and create that budget report I'm going to need. So I'm just going to go ahead and do example at domain.com. And then I can go ahead and select those particular budgets. So I can go through and build those budgets as needed, all different ways to look and see what's happening. So I stress that there are so many tools in terms of understanding your and getting transparency behind the scenes of what your AWS environment is is costing, and that's really really important. What did it include beforehand? I mean, again, let's go back. What were people doing on premises? You were having to purchase that hardware. You were looking
You had
at
to wait.
purchasing
You had
and
to,
wait.
well, before you even purchased, you had to get approval to purchase. You had to get, it's like, here's my workload, here's what I think it is, go through procurement, and then finally get the approval to purchase, and then do the ordering, and then wait for it to be shipped, and then wait for it to be dropped on your doorstep or your docking station, wherever it is. And then you had to like rack it and or mount it into the rack, and then you had to configure it before you could even actually start using it. Oh, I don't miss those days. No.
I don't either. I could tell you. I can tell you. I might start shuddering here. But if you think about it, we had one customer who it would take them 6 months to get a server. 6 months to get a server. So what's today? It's September. So you got October, November, December, January, February, March. So they're not going to get it till March.
That's a
Okay.
long time.
I mean, that's like, and then what? They went to virtualization and it took 2 months. So now they weren't going to get it till November. And literally, they could get a server in minutes and have that ability to grab that server as needed. And so, how important is that business? What's happening in your business? How do you need to meet demand? I think I was talking with some people in one of my classes actually last week, and we came up with how long that if people have to wait on a website for it to load so many seconds, 30, they're actually off to another website. And so think about that. If you don't have the capacity to meet those needs, what happens? Right? You're going
Yeah,
to lose
because we've
customers.
kind of trained ourselves to have this like lower tolerance of being able to wait for stuff. I mean, now it's more like instant gratification. 20, 30 years ago, it was like we gave a letter to someone and they delivered that letter across the country or like up to a different floor in the building. But now it's like we send, now we used to send an email, and even that email used to take a few minutes because it could only go so far. There's an article about that. Had to do with
Yes.
configuring the mail server. Could only make it like 400 miles or something. But now it's like we can send. a message on Slack, and it's there instantaneously. And we can see when people are making changes on documents instantaneously, like this real time collaboration. I'm in like Frisco, Texas. Matt's in the Denver, Colorado area, and we're talking instantaneously. So we no longer have this tolerance for like something that can have a delay.
Our attention span, yeah, most somebody put in there, most humans have an attention span of a goldfish. It has its business speed is great, and has taken and it's improved our lives a lot, but yeah, it also has placed demand and also anxiety, right? Where's that email? Where's that coming back? Nobody's gotten back to me. Is there a problem? I've had that too, where I've sent the email to the boss updating him on something, and then what? Oh, I'm not getting back. He's not getting back to me over the weekend. Am I, now what? Oh, he was out of town. He was on PTO. He dropped his phone, right? in a puddle of water, and now it doesn't work. And so, but we assume that person's going to get back to us right away.
I don't assume
So
that. I assume nothing. I actually appreciate some of the control mechanisms that have been placed in like certain applications where it's saying like delay sending this message until a certain time. Because I'm the fact that people think, hey, they're going to get back to me right away, that creates a pretty tense work-life balance, I'm going to say. So I do appreciate it. Anyway, going back to budgets and actions and costs, because we're not here about costs. We're digressing so far. What kind of reports do we have here? Like, what kind of reports are available to us?
we have all kinds of different reports that we can come in. And again, as I said before, we can come into those cost and usage reports. And we can go ahead and create a report, or we can go ahead and enable different reports. And so we can go, let's create a report. And so we'll call this, Project A again. And we can go ahead and now we can configure where are we going to do. What the cost and usage reports allow us to do is send those to a particular bucket. And then we can send those. So I can put those on a monthly basis to put a new report version there. Remember, didn't we talk about versioning in
We
S3
did.
buckets?
We
Yeah.
did with storage, talking about versioning and being able to maybe even use like a lifecycle configuration to help manage cost as well.
Yeah. Hey, let's have the people put in the chat if versioning is enabled on a bucket by default. A spot
Okay,
poll
so
here, Aaron. How about
so
that?
question for everyone. Oh, hold on. You know what? Let me don't share my screen. I will get that. Let me go back into the poll. I'm going to add that. So what was it? It was is spot or versioning. Is
Yeah.
versioning enabled on an Amazon S3 bucket by default? Okay, let's go ahead and throw that in, and I'll do yes and no as the answer options. Okay, and we do this. Give me a second. All right, this. All right, everyone. Random poll. Is versioning enabled on an Amazon S3 bucket by default? Yes or no? Yes or no? Use the chat. That's one or two. You have to type one or two.
That's good. Quick typing there, Aaron. I'm impressed.
Hey, I have this piece of paper that says I can type over 90 words a minute, so I will try
Okay.
my best.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, I see two, 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 two. So you didn't trick anyone. The only person you tricked was me because I wasn't ready for that poll. But I appreciate the challenge, Matt. Challenge accepted, buddy.
Thanks. I just think it's great, and then we can see how we're going to read that data. We can do it whether it's Amazon Athena or whether it's going to be QuickSight. QuickSight's a great thing. I know we use QuickSight to look at our scores every week, right? You can go ahead and see how you did in class and what the feedback from the student was, and all of that. And I think that's it's a powerful tool to be able to do graphs and charts and all kinds of different way. As I said before, repeatedly throughout this, it's we're visual learners, right? A lot of us like to have that data out there and see it in creative ways.
And
All
speaking
right.
of how we did, let me go ahead and drop this in the chat for everyone. We'll probably send this a couple times today because we do have episode 5 and episode 6 that are back to back. But let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we did throughout the series. There's a link to the survey that's in the chat. Please go fill that out. Take a few moments. And it really does go a long way to us to let us know what you want to see in these series and also other episodes that we have planning in the future. So go ahead and jump in and answer that for us. All right. Matt, what else do we have planned here? So I think we have another poll, don't we?
Yep, I think so.
Let's go ahead and bring that one back up. Give me a second here to get it. It has to do about reports. So you talked about reports, and you talked about reporting and different ways that we can identify opportunities to improve our cost. So we can see that right here. Type in the chat, everyone, which of the following reports will visualize existing resources and help you identify opportunities to improve costs. Only one of these is correct. Which one of these? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Is it reserved instance utilization, reserved instance coverage? Is it the AWS cost and usage report, or is it the AWS cost explorer purchase recommendations? So I see some answers around the cost and usage report. I see some around the cost explorer purchase recommendations, but the question specifically is around visualizing existing resources and helping you identify opportunities to improve cost. All right. Let's go ahead and I see a lot of answers around 3. It's actually the reserved instance utilization report.
Yeah, yeah, and that is actually in the it talks when we talked about those two report. That utilization report allows us to go ahead and see visually what's happening, and so very it again. uh, I don't want to call this a distractor, but we just wanted to make sure that you're going ahead and looking at. So read the cost management facts. Look at those different reports. I'm gonna actually, Thomas, can you go ahead and put in that particular reserved instance reporting uh, information in the chat for us?
I got it.
That particular link?
So the
Okay,
reserved
cool.
instance reporting information, it's this
Thanks.
link right here, and I just dropped it in the chat. So everyone should have it, but reserved instance reporting has to do with visualizing and being able to report your existing resources and also see whether or not you're using them most effectively at the same time. So you can access the reserved instance or RI purchase recommendations from the Cost Explorer, and then you can also still leverage the power of the cost and usage reports to better understand your RIs. But it comes back to reserved instance reporting. Okay. All right. So if
No,
you want to go
no
ahead and
worries,
take over
Thomas.
and carry us into the next section here, we have about 7 minutes left before we jump into episode 6, and plenty of opportunities for us to continue asking or answering questions that we're seeing in the chat at the same time too.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do, Aaron, is kind of open it up for questions. We've pretty much covered everything that was on our agenda for today. So
All right, cool. So we have 30 minutes of Q&A at the very end of our next episode. What we'll do here is we'll split it. We'll jump over to episode 6. Stay tuned, everyone. Don't go far. Episode 6 is coming up next. So thanks for joining episode 5. Don't go anywhere. Please don't. We are just going to kind of roll through a transition slide, and we will be right back. Thanks for joining, everyone. See you in just a few seconds. And welcome back, everyone. We are live. Back. We didn't go anywhere. It's episode 6 review and exam prep. And we are going to jump directly into our review section here. So, my name is Aaron Hunter. If you just joined us, I'm a senior technical trainer with Amazon Web Services training certification. And with me, we have my buddy Matt.
I'm Matt Heffernan, and I'm also a senior technical trainer with AWS training and certification. And looks like we're back here to talk about kind of a review and exam prep. That's kind of the focus today, Aaron.
Is going to be the focus for today. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and set the title for our show. So it's the episode 6 final episode. We've had 5 other episodes spanning the past few weeks here. And today we are going to cover. One person said, missed episode 5. Oh my gosh. I know. We just finished it. Don't worry. Don't worry. We
We
didn't
also
drop and
had.
leave.
Didn't you see the person who said they didn't have time to do any homework from the last episode?
Oh no, you didn't do homework. Oh
Uh,
my. Shame on you. I mean, it only took you a couple seconds.
yeah, we gave you 30 seconds.
We gave you 30 seconds to do your homework. No homework? All right. Speaking of that, if you're new here, welcome. This is the AWS Power Hour Cloud Practitioner. This is the final episode of our series. We do have a few people who are saying that they have completed their challenge. They signed up for the challenge, they completed it. Thank you so much for joining the challenge and actually sharing that success with us. Let's go ahead and bring that back up. All right. Passed the exam this week and you just wanted to finish the series. Thanks for coming back. And also thanks for sharing that with us. Everyone, round of applause. Say congrats in the chat for this person who passed. Really do appreciate you sharing that. Round of applause. Round of applause. But that's wonderful news. If you also signed up for the challenge, let us know. Let us know in the chat. If you passed already, let us know in the chat as well. There's so much things to celebrate on this final episode. We're going to spend the next hour and a half here talking about our previous episodes, reviewing the previous episodes, and then we're going to move over into exam prep. What's some tips and strategies for you? If you have any, feel free to share them in the chat as well. We're all here to learn together. And then we have a 30-minute Q&A session. So if you have questions, and we do have some from the previous episode that we're going to kind of queue up as well. So if you have questions, type them in the chat and we'll come back to those at the very end of this. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for working with us over the past few weeks. Let's jump directly into the review and exam.